You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon, welcome back. Today is Monday, 28th day of October, 2024. For those of you tuned in via our YouTube channel, I'm still having issues with the streaming software. I'm going to try a new type of software tomorrow. So if the YouTube stream gets too choppy, here's what you do. Go to mytradingiq.com. Scroll down to where it says Noon Broadcast. Click the link, fill out the 30-second registration form, hit submit, and it'll log you right into our platform. Okay? I really want to get this fixed, but in the meantime, this is the best way, is just logging into the platform. Okay? But for the convenience of those who are, busy during the afternoon broadcast or just out of the office, the purpose of the YouTube channel is so that we can allow people who are away from their desktop to log in via their phone and watch the broadcast live, or just watch it later when they're not busy. So anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Hope you had a great weekend. Happy Monday. Glad to have you with us, whoever you are, wherever you are. Okay? This is our second live broadcast of the trading day. We do two every trading day. The first broadcast, in order to get into that broadcast, you got to be a member, or you have to be on the 5-day free trial. When Michael joins us in about 50 minutes, he will show you step by step exactly how to take the trial. He'll walk you through it step by step. And then you can join us in the live training room each morning. This afternoon broadcast is open to the public. Everybody, everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. Once you go to mytradingiq.com and scroll down to Noon Broadcast and do all of that, not only will it get you in today, but going forward, every trading day, you'll get an email about an hour before this broadcast starts. In the email, there's a link. So at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it'll automatically log you into our platform. The benefit there is you have access to the question box. Now, the question box or the chat box on the YouTube channel, I'm not able to monitor that during the first 50 minutes of the broadcast because I got my eyes on the question box on our platform. So the benefit is, by using the method I just explained, you'll have access to the question box the second we start up. Okay? All right. Our daily devotional is where we start each day. Word of prayer, little news, recap of the alerts, both the logic and the concierge. And then when Michael gets here, he'll give us a recap of what happened this morning in the live training room. Then we'll do some live trading on the TradingView platform for about 30 minutes. And then I'll wrap things up with our good word for the day. So, the topic of our devotion, we're in day 7 of 9. Going deeper, meeting the Messiah in John 1 through 4. And on day 7, we've arrived at John 4. Today's scripture will be John 4, verses 1 through 26. And I'm going to share it with you from the Message translation. Jesus realized that the Pharisees were keeping count of the baptisms that he and John performed, although his disciples, not Jesus, did the actual baptizing. They had posted the score that Jesus was ahead, turning him and John into rivals in the eyes of the people. So Jesus left the Judean countryside and went back to Galilee. To get there, he had to pass through Samaria. He came into Sychar, a Samaritan village that bordered the field Jacob had given his son Joseph. Jacob's well was still there. Jesus, worn out by the trip, sat down at the well. It was noon. A woman, a Samaritan, came to draw water. Jesus said, "Would you give me a drink of water?" His disciples had gone to the village to buy food for lunch. The Samaritan woman, taken aback, asked, "How come you, a Jew, are asking me, a Samaritan woman, for a drink?" Jews in those days wouldn't be caught dead talking to Samaritans. It's kind of like Democrats and Republicans today or something. I don't know. Anyway, back to verse 10. Jesus answered, "If you knew the generosity of God and who I am, you would be asking me for a drink, and I would give you fresh living water." The woman said, "Sir, you don't even have a bucket to draw with, and this well is deep. So how are you going to get this living water? Are you a better man than our ancestor Jacob, who dug this well and drank from it, he and his sons and livestock, and passed it down to us?" Jesus said, "Everyone who drinks this water will get thirsty again and again. Anyone who drinks the water I give will never thirst, not ever. The water I give will be an artesian spring within, gushing fountains of endless life." The woman said, "Sir, give me this water so I won't ever get thirsty. Won't ever have to come back to this well again." He said, "Go call your husband and then come back." "I have no husband," she said. "That's nicely put. I have no husband. You've had 5 husbands, and the man you're living with now isn't even your husband. You spoke the truth there, sure enough." "Oh, so you're a prophet. Well, tell me this. Our ancestors worshiped God at this mountain, but you Jews insist that Jerusalem is the only place for worship, right?" "Believe me, woman, the time is coming when you Samaritans will worship the Father, neither here at this mountain nor there in Jerusalem. You worship guessing in the dark. We Jews worship in the clear light of day. God's way of salvation is made available through the Jews. But the time is coming, it has in fact come, when what you're called will not matter, and where you go to worship will not matter. It's who you are and the way you live that count before God. Your worship must engage your spirit in the pursuit of truth. That's the kind of people the Father is out looking for. Those who are simply and honestly themselves before Him in their worship. God is sheer being itself, spirit. Those who worship Him must do it out of their very being, their spirits, their true selves in adoration. The woman said, I don't know about that. I do know that the Messiah is coming. When he arrives, we'll get the whole story. Last verse. I am he, said Jesus. You don't have to wait any longer or look any further. Now at this point you might be asking who this new life is for. Is it just for people like Nicodemus, the religious expert? Well, Jesus' next one-to-one couldn't be more different than Nicodemus. Notice that we've changed where we are. Jesus is now in Samaria, an area once part of Israel, but looked down on in Jesus' time for its religious and ethnic mix. As verse 9 tells us, Jews did not have anything to do with Samaritans. This one-to-one also crosses other boundaries. Just as Jews did not speak to Samaritans, men did not speak to women outside their family. If you look ahead to chapter 4, verse 27, you'll see how this shocked Jesus' disciples. And this woman is, by the standards of the time, morally compromised. She's had 5 husbands and is now living with another man she's not even married to. In many ways, she is the last person you would expect Jesus to be talking to. But what a conversation it is. They start off on the topic of water, and once again, Jesus quickly moves from literal H2O to something deeper. He offers the Samaritan woman living water. She's confused. How's he going to get that out of the well when he doesn't even have a bucket? Jesus stretches her understanding. This water from Jesus will become like an internal spring, overflowing to eternal life. The woman sees that Jesus is a prophet and turns the conversation to worship. She points out that Samaritans worship in a different place than the Jews, Mount Gerizim rather than the temple in Jerusalem. But Jesus is clear. With his arrival, true worship is through the Spirit, not in a special place. As the woman tells him that the Messiah will make sense of it all, Jesus breaks some very special news. He tells her that the Messiah is speaking to her. In John's Gospel, this is the first time Jesus tells someone he is the Messiah. He tells this woman, looked down on in so many ways, not Nicodemus, Israel's teacher. The last person you would expect is offered a place in God's kingdom. She has access to the living water and true worship that only the Messiah can give. So, whoever we are, whatever we have done, the new life that Jesus brings, his grace upon grace, is an offer to us as well. Join me in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, just as Jesus met the Samaritan woman at the well and offered her living water, we come to you thirsting for your presence. Satisfy our souls with the water that only you can provide. May we worship you in spirit and in truth, and let our lives reflect the hope and grace you give freely to all who seek you. We continue to pray for those impacted by the hurricanes, comfort the grieving, heal the injured, and provide for those who have lost so much. We continue to pray for an end to violence in the Middle East. We pray that you protect the innocent, bring healing to those affected by war, and guide the leaders on both sides towards paths of justice and reconciliation. And Lord, as the presidential election is just a few sleeps away, we ask for your guidance and oversight. Please grant wisdom to voters, integrity to leaders, and honesty throughout the entire election process. Protect the election from division and injustice, and may the outcome, whatever it is, honor you and bring peace and unity to our nation, one nation under God. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said, amen. Amen and a happy Monday. All right, I'm now going to give you the numbers from around the world. We're going to start here in the U.S. with the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. Currently the Dow's up 298 points. NASDAQ's up 91. S&P 500 is up 23. And the Russell 2000, our man in the street, is up 32 points. That's almost 1.5%. Now there's an issue that I think may prevent the indices from going higher. And in a minute when we go to the charts, I'll point that out to you. That'll be the first thing I do. And crude, man, were you guys watching the open last night? Bonds fell like a rock. Crude fell like a rock. In fact, crude is still down $3.81. That's $3,810 per contract traded. Last trade, 68.01. That's a drop of 5.25%. Gold down 20 cents, trading 27.5420 last. Silver up 9 cents, trading 33.87 last. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei posted a gain of 691 points, almost 2%. Shanghai rose 22 points. The Hang Seng gained 9. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE up 32, the DAX up 52, and the CAC up 62. No movers, no shakers there. It was a green day for Asia. It was a green day for the UK. And so far, it is definitely a green Radio Monday here in the US of A. But we could be about to hit a brick wall. And again, after the news, I will show it to you on the chart. Israel's airstrike on Iran Saturday morning targeted military sites, including 2 secretive bases, according to satellite imagery. The attacks, which killed at least 4 soldiers, came in response to Iran firing around 200 missiles into Israel this month, most of which were intercepted. The attacks are the first Israel has acknowledged on Iranian soil. They came in waves with jet fighters, destroying portions of Iran's missile defense system, including those protecting Iranian oil facilities. Israel also struck 3 missile manufacturing bases and 2 military bases including a former nuclear testing site. Israel's Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, said Israel achieved all its objectives. The attacks steered clear of direct strikes on oil and nuclear facilities, which Iran warned could provoke a full-scale war. Separately, Israeli airstrikes in northern Gaza killed at least 33 people, per the Hamas-run health ministry. A truck ramming attack in Tel Aviv killed one person and injured at least 30 more. Japan's Liberal Democratic Party is projected to have lost control of the nation's lower house of parliament yesterday. It marks the first time in more than a decade the conservative ruling party has lost its absolute majority in the chamber. Okay. November, we got a Fed meeting coming up. Question on the table is cut or pause. The coming week will seal what the Federal Reserve does in November. Cut rates again or pause. Those appear to be the two options on the table for central bank policymakers at their next meeting on November 6th and 7th. The 7th is a Wednesday, and that's when we'll get the announcement. And two reports this week on inflation and the labor market could swing the final calculus. If inflation numbers are released this coming Thursday look firmer than expected, and the jobs picture in a Labor Department report on Friday is hotter than expected, I think they could debate pausing since they cut by 50 basis points last time. That's from a bond portfolio manager over at Wilmington Trust. Strong job gains could convince the Fed to pause in November. That's from a chief economist at LPL Financial. But other Fed watchers say it's not likely the data due out Thursday and Friday will change the Fed's path, which is to lower rates. The Fed is already on the glide slope of a 25 basis rate cut in November and is unlikely to alter that trajectory no matter what the data says. That's from one of the managing partners of Harris Financial Group. Apple is releasing a free software update that will inject its first dose of artificial intelligence into its iPhone 16 lineup as the trend-setting company tries to catch up with technology's latest craze. Well, I'm still running an iPhone 11 and I don't have any plans to upgrade, so I guess you guys can tell me how much fun it really is. The upgrade to the iOS 18 operating system on today arrives more than a month after 4 iPhone 16 models equipped with the special computer chip needed to power the AI features went on sale at prices ranging from $800 to $1,200. Last year's premium models, the iPhone 15 Pro and iPhone 15 Pro Max, also possess a processor that will enable the AI technology after the software update is installed. Recent versions of Apple's iPad and Mac computer can also be updated with the software. And as a result, Apple is up $2.84 or 1.25%. Elon Musk, stunned year, buoyed by a new, cheaper model and enthusiasm for self-driving software. But if the EV maker delivers on its promise, that would surprise much of Wall Street. Musk's 2025 forecast and improving profit margins sparked the biggest jump in Tesla shares since May of 2013. Wow. When the company posted its first quarterly profit. It also encouraged investors to believe that even as the CEO works on a years-out robo-taxi, he is focusing on the basics of the automaker's business. And going to rallies with presidential hopeful Trump. Okay, now this isn't pretty. It's from Bloomberg. Occupying the top 3 floors of an unremarkable office building in northern Mumbai, that's in India, there's little to distinguish Shriya Life Sciences from the many other commercial businesses that keep the Andheri neighborhood of India's largest metropolis humming throughout the day. But this inconspicuous pharmaceutical company is part of a lucrative trade in leading-edge technology to Russia that has the U.S. and its European allies worried at India's role as an intermediary in the sales. A Bloomberg News analyst compiled data compiled by trade tracking firms Import Genius and NBD show that Shriya exported 1,111. 1111. Now, there's supposed to be great metaphysical significance if you buy into all of that. There's even websites. Whenever you look at a clock and it's 11:11, it's the universe speaking to you. I know. It seems crazy, but now, going forward, because I've said this, if you never heard it before, it's going to seem like every time you look at the clock, it's 11:11. I could give you the long explanation of why that happens, but I won't. I'll spare you. The servers, known as PowerEdge XE9680, contain high-end processors optimized for artificial intelligence made by NVIDIA Corp, or Advanced Micro Devices, AMD. According to Dell's website, specification data available for 998 shipped servers show they were equipped with NVIDIA's H100 chips. The servers and the chips they contain are on a list of items restricted by the U.S. and the European Union to target sensitive sectors in Russia's military-industrial complex. Yet the shipments worth $300 million and imported by 2 Russian trading companies were just the latest in a series of advanced technology exports Shriya made perfectly legally to Russia since September of 2022, according to the data. Somebody's got to close that loophole. I mean, this is a pharmaceutical company turning itself into a technology company. And I'm sure all of you know that fentanyl that flows so freely across the southern border here in the United States, that's killed more people in the last year than the entire Vietnam War did, Americans. The raw chemicals come from China, as he likes to say. They're shipped into Mexico, and in the jungles they have these laboratories set up where they take the raw materials, process it, and then they take the fentanyl and they press the little pills that look just like the ones you might get from the doctor here in the U.S. Plus they put it in the heroin, plus they put it in the cocaine. They even sprinkle it on the marijuana. Why? Because it's so highly addictive. Somebody needs to do something about China. I know a guy who just might. Oil plunged nearly 6% toward 2024 lows after an expected Israeli retaliatory strike against Iran over the weekend spared the country's petroleum infrastructure. West Texas Intermediate futures tumbled below $68, while Brent crude, the international benchmark, slid to trade below 72 a barrel. Tel Aviv's attack early Saturday morning, which came in response to Tehran's missile strikes on October 1st, was targeted at Iranian military facilities. So they didn't blow up the oil wells. I guess it's a good thing when you go to the pump. Sorry, I had to do that. Okay, here we go. When hurricanes hit, they send air pressure sharply lower. They can affect the barometers we use to read the economy, too. Helene and Milton are likely to wreak havoc on economic indicators at a particularly delicate time. The employment rate for October comes out Friday, 4 days before the election. It will bear the hurricane's marks, which could make it especially susceptible to being spun for political advantage in the final stretch of the presidential campaign. Sorry. Okay. Federal Reserve's next decision on rates comes just 2 days after Election Day. Think about it. Hurricane effects on the data will make it harder for the Fed to decide how much or whether to cut interest rates to keep the economy solid and inflation headed down. Helene was the deadliest hurricane to hit the U.S. mainland since Katrina. Some say it was worse than Katrina. And many affected communities are still recovering. And of course, Milton came just 2 weeks later. JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon, the modern day Willie Sutton. Google him, Willie Sutton. You'll get a kick out of it. Jamie Dimon blasted several major regulatory initiatives on capital rules, card payments, and open banking at a conference today. Dimon said many banks are afraid to fight with their regulators because they could just come and punish you more, he said. It's time to fight back. And we actually have a candidate running for the Oval Office that is anti-regulation. So Jamie, although you and I don't agree on much, you may get your wish. So that's the news, friends. Let's jump now to Logic 247. This is our 24/7 around-the-clock E-mini alert service. Now, we ended up with a killer week last week. We had, this doesn't include them all. Well, maybe, no, because I put a few, anyway, we'll just use this. 78 total alerts, 9% stopped out, based on market structure and a simple process we teach all of our passport holders in their one-on-one mentoring sessions. Now, since the markets opened last night at 6 p.m. Eastern, I issued a total of 18 alerts, plus I think I issued a couple this morning. We're still waiting on the outcome of 8, so we had 10 actionable alerts, of which 2 or 20% would have been stopped out. We're in week 326 of Logic 247. And what we've averaged, well, over those 326 weeks, we've now issued over 18,200 individual handcrafted alerts. 18,200. We broke that 200 last night. And we've averaged on a weekly basis 20% or less being stopped out based on market structure and a very simple process that we teach all of our passport holders in their one-on-one mentoring sessions. Right on track. Last week, it was an awesome week. It really was. Now, the purpose of the logic alerts is not so you can just trade them and not have to learn how to trade. Use them as they're intended to help you learn to read the chart. If you want to become a trader, you got to know how to read a chart. You got to know where to expect support, where to expect resistance, and you got to know how to find windows of opportunity. If you use the logic alerts, as I will teach you to use them, you'll be reading a chart in no time, just like a newspaper or a good mystery novel. Some people make the mistake of just trading the alerts. They don't bother to learn how to trade. And well, I'm no spring chicken. I have no plans to depart anytime soon, but God knows when I'll depart. So, all I'm saying is it's a powerful way and a simple way to learn how to read the charts. And if you want to learn how to trade, I mean really learn how to trade, not some gimmicky thing some guy came up with that works for a month and then it don't work no more. I mean, look at our weekly trading zones. This December will make 15 years that we've published them every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Now, our original alert service, the concierge trade alerts, are different than the logic alerts. Logic alerts have an entry price, an initial target, sometimes a second, third, fourth, even fifth, maybe more targets, and a final trade to target. It depends on market structure. Okay, that's how you learn to read the chart. They come out around the clock. It could be 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. Futures trade around the clock, and we have traders around the globe. Their day session is our night session, and vice versa. And if you're new to trading, sometimes trading the night session is simpler because things are just a little bit slower, you know. But if you're a member or on the trial, make sure you read this. And if there's anything up here you don't understand, send me a message in Telegram and I will answer it. Last night, all of these targets for all of these markets came out 5 minutes after the open. ES, YM, Russell, crude oil, NQ, gold, silver, and bonds. Again, all members and all trial members had every one of these targets 5 minutes after the open last night. So let's go to that daily chart. And I shall show you the hitch and the giddy up. Now, I kept warning everybody this morning in the live training room and in the discussion group in Telegram, beware of 58.91. That's red and falling right there. It's now dropped to 58.90 and a half. And see what's happening? Okay. Now, this 38% fib extension could be potential support. So we could get a bounce here. If we don't get a bounce here, then we're most likely headed back to the BBC. The green line, we call that the BBC. It stands for Bull Bear Cross. It's part of the indicator set you get when you become a member. Okay. Now, What's its purpose? Well, it's so simple. When price crosses above the green line, we're bullish and anticipate higher prices. When price crosses below the green line, we're bearish and anticipate lower prices, higher prices, lower prices. And price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is green. We call it the BBC. You'll notice that the pullback holds more often than not. When we pulled up from below, the pullback held until it didn't. Then the pullback held, and the pullback held, and then it didn't, but then it did. And then a leg, and then it did. And then we had a historic rally here. We did get back below the BBC for a few days. Then we popped above it. We got a leg and a retracement. Pullback held. Leg, new all-time historic high, retracement, pullback held. So the question for me with red and falling overhead, I'm pretty confident we're headed back to the BBC again. It held on this day, held on this day, but we have to overcome the step line. Once we get below the step line, then we're certainly headed back, I would think, to Friday's low, then the BBC. Now, way down here is the 24% fib extension. Okay. Now, right now our fibs are set like this. We go all the way back to April 19th for the low. And October 17th for the high. But I'm going to shake that up. I thought about it. I talked about it Friday, I think. Boom. Gone. So now we're going to do our fib retracements. From this low to the all-time historic high. Let me move this out of the way. Now the all-time historic high is 59.27 1/4. See if I can get a little bit closer. Oh. There, I'll just leave it there for now. Okay? But know that the all-time historic high is 59.27 1/4. I'm at 25.75, so we're a few ticks off, but it's close enough for the daily chart. Now, why even look at a daily chart? I'll tell you why. Institutional traders look at daily, weekly, and monthly charts the way you and I look at 30-minute charts, 5-minute charts, tick charts, and range charts. Has to do with account size. Because of the institution's incredible account size, they trade in incredible size, and they are the ones who move price. Us little folk, we're just liquidity for the deep pockets. But since we know that they are looking at daily, weekly, and monthly charts, we can peer over the shoulder of the deep pockets, and number one, we can see what they're doing. They're buying. But more important, number one, if you just simply do what the deep pockets are doing, that makes it pretty simple to get your goal for the day, and then you need the self-discipline to put the mouse away. Okay. But on your smaller time frame charts, you won't know that this 50% fib extension is right here, or the 62 is right here. You won't know the daily BBC, which is very important, is right here. So Now, this doesn't just work with the S&P 500 E-mini futures. Any futures market, any individual stock, any crypto, any Forex, any ETF works the same. Okay? So whatever you trade, before you start actually trading for the day, just spend 2 minutes looking at the daily chart of what you're about to trade. It's kind of like, putting your toe in the water, seeing what the temperature is, and then jotting down on your notepad important numbers, okay, that you want to be aware of. See, you don't know how important this 5890 is when you're just looking at a smaller time frame. But looking at the daily, we do know, okay? So, I'm telling you, if you'll make that part of your daily routine, it will have, I believe, a positive impact on your trading results over time. All right. Enough of that. All alerts are created on the 30-minute chart. Logic alerts, concierge trade alerts. Now, these zones were published last Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. The new zones went out this morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. But on Sunday night, all the alerts that I put out are based on last week's zones. Any alert I put out today will be based on this week's zones, and when you tune into the broadcast tomorrow, you'll see this week's zones on my chart. Okay. Now, when price rallies up to a zone, we expect resistance till proven otherwise. Okay. When price drops to a zone, we expect support till proven otherwise. Now, even though these are last week's zones, they're still doing their job here. But we had a massive gap last night. In fact, Stefan mentioned it to everybody in the discussion group. Again, that's why you want to be in Telegram in the discussion group. Before the markets opened last night, Stefan said it looks like we're going to have a huge gap open on the ES. And look what happened. We're all on the same team. There's no backstabbing. There's no trying to outdo one another. We're all on the same team. We're all trying to help each other. Okay? It's hard to find, but we got it. If you're interested. So, this was the open last night. Okay? Now, I moved that over. See that little bitty candle? That was Friday's close. Okay? And so, we gapped from roughly 58.42 up to 58.67. Now with futures, gaps are rare, except on Sunday night and when there's a big name reporting after the bell during earnings season. We had a lot of big names reporting. In fact, Stefan posted a chart of that in Telegram. So, 5 minutes after the open, all of our members and trial members had this target, 58.75. And on the second 30-minute candle, we hit it. Market ran into some resistance, or just consolidated here. And then it pulled back to the BBC and the pullback held. So then we get a leg and a retracement, the pullback held. Then we get a leg and a retracement, and this time the pullback didn't hold. The pullback holds more often than not, but we know eventually it will trade through and then start building legs in the other direction. See, that's how price moves, not in a straight line. It goes leg, retracement, leg, retracement, leg, retracement, leg, retracement. Every time frame. Now that BBC, markets are fractal in nature. That means you can put that BBC, the green line, on a daily, weekly, monthly chart, You can put it on a 30-minute chart, a 5-minute chart, a tick chart, a range chart. It's going to work the same. When price gets above it, expect higher prices. Price gets below it, expect lower prices. Above it, higher prices. See how that works? Now, the market, when it traded through the BBC, it's looking for support, and it found it at last week's zone. Support sends us looking for resistance. Now you'll notice this candle here and this candle here, double top, followed by a red candle. Well, that's weakness. So we got a leg, a retracement, and another leg that took us all the way down to the weekly trading zone. When price encounters a weekly trading zone, 70% of the time you're going to get this, consolidation. 20% of the time you'll get this, rejection. 10% of the time you get the slice. Now this is a slice. This is the price ripped through that zone like it wasn't even there. Now what typically happens is when that move runs out of steam, price will retrace back to the zone it sliced through and continue in the direction of the slice. And you could argue that it actually did that over an extended period of time, but it usually happens just in a couple candles. So once you've been with us a couple weeks, you should be able to look at a 30-minute chart and know with a great degree of certainty what the next high probability move is. Okay? This one's just too tight because we're already down to 65. So when price was up here, 58.70, the simple and obvious was a move back down to last week's zone. Remember, this week's zones will be on the charts tomorrow. Here's the Dow, where we also had a gap open. Hit the BBC, consolidated, got a leg, got a retracement, leg and a retracement, a leg and a retracement, a leg. And now, this is a little surprising, okay? We actually opened and closed below the BBC. That usually indicates a change in direction. But if our methodology or anybody's methodology was 100%, then out of 18,200 individual alerts, we would be 100% right all the time. But we're not. We average being stopped out 20% of the time. Anyway, so this is a little surprise, okay? That's okay. Just watch the market. It gets back above the BBC. So now what do we expect? Well, I know I want to take out that double top. Okay? And once I do, bang. Up to the target, up to the zone, consolidation, pull back to the BBC, which we expect to be support till proven otherwise. But what happened? Well, blue and climbing got directly above price, and you got the step line. So you've got some resistance there. And yes, we did hit the long target again. Okay? Now, this candle here, it opened at 559. Call it 560, ran to 640. That's 80 points. You only need 20 points on the Dow to get your goal for the day. The Russell. This is where we closed on Friday. This was the gap open last night. And this candle opened right here. Remember, 5 minutes into this candle is when these targets went out. So this candle opened at, let's call it 22.33 to be conservative. From 33, it ran up to 35.30. It's 2 points, goal for the day. pull back to the BBC, back to the target, back to the BBC. See, whenever the market finds resistance, now this resistance is based on the bearish cross from Friday. When the red line gets below the green line, that's a bearish cross. When the blue line gets above the green line, that's a bullish cross. But it has to lead to an extended move. And see, we didn't get the extended move here, but here we did. So the first time price revisits that area of the bearish cross, you should expect resistance. And that's exactly what we got. Resistance always sends the market to support. Support always sends a market looking for resistance. And then we did it again here on the Russell. We opened and closed below the BBC, but we didn't take out these lows. So you wouldn't trade this until you take out those lows. Market reverse, got back above the BBC, and I think we're pretty close. This week's zone, we got one at 2260/61. We overshot that just a little bit. And then the final zone for the week on the upside is 2311 this week. But it's early in the week. Sometimes we actually hit the highest or lowest weekly zone by Tuesday morning. Typically when that happens, based on 15 years of history, by the end of the week, price will be at the other end of the spectrum. Okay. Now, you see the black step line? It's crossing. See, on this powerful move up, you had price, step line, blue and climbing, way over here, BBC. Doesn't get any better than that. Okay. But once the step line crosses over to the right side of blue and climbing, then you expect a retracement back to the BBC. Is that you, Michael?
That is me.
Okay.
That is me.
Guys, we will pick up on the NQ. We'll do the NQ. We'll do crude. We'll do gold. We'll do silver when I come back, plus our good word for the day. But for now, Michael's going to give us a recap of what happened in the live training room this morning, as he does every day. And then we'll do some live trading on TradingView.
Yes.
Do not hesitate to ask questions. We encourage you to ask questions. Just type them into the question box. And I'll be monitoring the YouTube channel question box. So if you got something, type it in. We'll get you an answer. Charts look good.
Do our best. All right. Excellent. So here we go. Bart, I just sent you an email with the link for our meeting. Okay. Let me up the question box so I can see it, and then I will jump into it. All right, here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Monday, the 28th day of October, 2024. Happy Monday. If you have not taken a free trial with us, and you would like to take a free trial with us, well, all you have to do is go here to mytradingiq.com and click right here on this purple button. Now, when you click on this purple button, there is no credit card required for the trial. All you have to do is, well, you'll be sent to this registration page right here. And I actually went through this morning on my own. Sent to this registration page where we ask for first name, last name, email, phone number. Select one of these drop. Well, actually fill out all these multiple choice questions. And down here at the bottom, if you have NinjaTrader, give us your machine ID. And if you have TradingView, give us your login ID. If you have both, give us both. Okay, and we will get you all set up. All right, that is all that you need to do to get the trial and to get the indicators indicating on your desktop. All right, now the spreadsheet, we had an okay day today. It wasn't super duper. It started out really well. We were up probably double what we ended at, but we stopped out a couple of times, and that put us down to where we are. So if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you have to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is the 28th day of October 2024. We made 12 ticks. 12 ticks on the NQ, 27 ticks on the Russell. We lost 15 on the YM. We made 17 on the ES. That put us at 332.5 on the morning session today. It took 2 minutes and 1 trade to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $100 per contract. So we're up $1,000 altogether because we have 10 contracts going. And we took a total of 11 trades. So this morning it took 2 minutes and 1 trade to make $1,000. Friday it took 3 minutes and 1 trade to make $1,000. There's something to it, guys. Started at 9:27, and even on Thursday where it took 42 minutes, that's because I messed something up in the beginning. I should have gotten it on the first trade. Anyway, on the month now we're $12,237 over 20 business days, averaging $611 per contract per 2-hour business day. On the year now, we've got our goal in 203 out of 203 business days every single day so far this year. And we've now gone 364 business days since our last red day. Okay. Now, if you were to quit trade, I'm sorry, on the whole year now, we're at $98,375 with 1 contract, and we have 10 contracts on, so more than that. We're averaging $484 per contract per 2-hour business day, and following the 24/20 blueprint, now you would be at $2,822 an hour. If you started with 1 contract this year and added just 1 contract per month, you would now be at $2,822 per hour. You would have only had to work 58.35 hours if you quit trading when you got the goal for the day. You would have only had to work 58.35 hours if you did it just like me. All right, and that's it. Now, let's get into the actual trades. Okay, we'll get into the actual trades here. And let's see, on the YM, we only had a couple of trades on the YM today. Actually, we didn't have a ton of trades overall. Our first trade on the YM was right here. And we picked up 10 ticks on that one. And then the next trade on the YM was over here, and we stopped out on that one. That put us at -15 overall. There weren't that many trades. When we got into the break here, there was a nice trade right there, another nice trade right there. So there were a couple of nice trades during the break. There's even a long trade right here if you wanted to stretch it. Nothing else since then. Okay, but there weren't a ton of trades today. On the Russell, we had just a few trades. The first one was right here. We picked up 22 ticks on that one. And then we picked up 5 ticks on the one right after it. It did eventually get up to this level. Those of you guys, when I drew these in here this morning, this was the length and athlete. This was the pullback I thought we were going to get to. We didn't quite get that whole pullback. We got pretty close to it, but we didn't get the whole thing. And then pushed up again. Now, I missed the trade in here that triggered while I was doing the lesson plan. And then during the break, there was one nice short right here that triggered, and that was pretty much it. Not a whole lot happening there today. On the ES now. The ES, let's bring that all the way back here. All right, so we had some pretty good trades here on the ES this morning. This is where we got our goal. On the very first trade this morning, picked up 8 ticks on that one right there. And then on the next one, we picked up 4 more ticks to get us to 12. 4 more here to get us to 16. 1 right there to get us to 17. And that was all that we had this morning. Now, we have right now, there's a trade setting up right now on the ES. It just needs to give us a down close. It's got a high here of 66. We'd be selling 64 on that, right? This is what it looks like on the DOM. I'll just keep my DOM over here. We can watch it, okay? And now we'll get over here to the NQ and see what we did with the NQ today. Here we on that trade. And now we got to go 4 ticks into profit to bump that stop to break even and make sure my stop is only 10 ticks away. All right, so on the NQ, we had, this was our first trade on the NQ right here. We ended up getting all 48 ticks on that trade. And then the next trade that we had was right here. We got a break even on that one. We had a break even on that one. Then we stopped out on that one, -36 on that one right there. That put us down to +12. I think that's all that we did. Looks like it's all that we did with the NQ. There's a long sideways period right here. It happens. Let's see, getting into the break. You couldn't see all 4 lines in the ribbon all the way through here. There was really nothing you could do in the break. Right here, we stopped on that ES, right? Right here, we had an opportunity for a long trade right there. That would have pulled back really close to your stop, but would run up and gotten you the full 48 ticks if you let it run. It really hasn't had anything since then. So the market's kind of a mess right now. Now, I haven't looked at anything else in here. I haven't looked at Bitcoin or anything like that yet today. And Bitcoin's on a little bit of a tear here. It needs to get up a little ways here, up to 70. Well, new all-time highs is what it should do. We don't really have anything else showing there. Let's go out one more. And that fellow that asked about the XAU USD last week, he never showed up, never took the trial. So here's his XAU USD. This is on a 1,000 range bar. Right, that's because you want to look at it on a really big time frame. There's been some really good opportunities in here on the 1,000 range bar. All right, it doesn't have any right now, but there were some earlier. Now we'll go out a little bit further. See what's out here. Number 7. Number 7 is the YM, and why is that there? I don't know. I don't know why the YM is there all by itself. And we'll go one more. And so we got out here number 8. Number 8, we have Tesla. Tesla's got earnings this week, I think. Isn't that what that means? Right there. Key facts. Tesla retail sales in China hit 72,200 in September. A 66% year-over-year increase. Wow. That is big. They launched a 7-seat Model Y in the Netherlands. Interesting. Doing more sales overseas than anywhere else. All right, so let's go back here. Nothing. Is that leg negated even though it's low, broken to the downside? Chris, which leg are you talking about on the ES? Okay, let's look at the ES. This leg right here, was it negated? Is this the one you mean? Because it was short, but it never really gave a signal on the short side. Then it went long, and it really gave a signal on the long side. Then it went sideways without giving any signal. And so now this is the first signal that it's had. The vertical line that I showed. Oh, okay. That was that on the ES? I don't think that was on the ES, was it? I thought that was on the Russell. Let's go and find that. I think it was on the Russell. Yeah, it was this one right here. Yeah, it was this one right here on the Russell. It was still looking for this to be the leg up. Even though it gave this short in here, it was still looking for this to be the leg up. It did eventually get that leg up over here, just about got that leg up over here. But it's just a whole bunch of sideways action. The fact that it hasn't done anything beyond that leg, you can actually, usually you can take this leg and use it on the downside. See, like that right there. And then start it all over again. Like that. Once it establishes this leg, it seems to move in that type of lengths for a good period of the day until it really breaks out of it, which it hasn't done yet today. And remember, we got that from way over here this morning. Right there. At the open. That was the first one, that was the second one, that was the third one, that was the fourth one. And then this was the downside, but if you do it right here, that's the fifth, and it's working on the sixth right now. Okay, so it's kind of a mess. The markets are just, they're not really that tradable right now, right at the moment. So it's kind of difficult to get in there and do what you might want to do. You know what I mean? So you have to go look at something else or look at different time frames. Now, that was a question that was asked this morning by one of the guys that was on the trial. Do we jump around from time frame to time frame? No, we don't typically jump around from time frame to time frame, but sometimes sometimes when the markets aren't really giving up anything because they have just enough follow through to maybe give you a trade setup. Go into a smaller time frame, you might be able to take some profits in those types of trade setups on those days. Okay, but I wouldn't trade anything right now. The day started off great. We were just killing it right at the beginning. You know, our first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trades, I think, were all positive. And then we had some break evens, and then we had a stop out, and then we had another stop out, and then we get into the lesson plan for the most part. Let's see. So I know these little dots here. That was a feature that used to be in NinjaTrader and in DT Pro that we didn't have in TradingView. And I kind of created it over the weekend. It's not exactly the same, but it does basically the same thing. It shows you the swing highs and lows have been. I might add to it to extend it out so it goes out to the current bar. Because right now it goes out to like the last one until it starts to until it starts to create a new one. It goes out to the last one. But we'll see if I feel the need. I now have 8 things left on my list from the weekend that I have to get done.
So once a blue dot is printed, then a red dot has to print before there can be another blue dot.
It's not exactly the same like that one used to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that one you could only have dots on one side. It would only be red dots, and then it would only be blue dots, and they had to go back and forth.
Right.
This one doesn't have to go back and forth. This just prints.
Oh, okay.
It just prints where the actual levels are.
Okay.
It doesn't force it to go back and forth.
Okay.
It's like right in here. It showed where the high was, and then when it started pulling away, it showed,
Gotcha.
Once it starts to pull away, it's just like the other one. Once it starts to pull away, it'll do it. It's got to go 3 bars, though. It takes 3 bars to really register the pull away. And that's a setting that I left in here. You can change that if you want. Right here, the left bars and right bars. You can make it less, make it 2 bars, or even more if you want to. You can make it 1 bar, and that's going to get them right next to each other all the time. But some people like it up here at like 6 or 10 bars. And in that case, you're going to miss all the little swings in the middle, but you catch the bigger ones. It's going to give you the farther out swing highs and lows. It's going to miss all these little ones in the middle, and it'll capture the bigger ones. Okay. And it's also going to be, you see it's 10 bars out. So it's going to be 10 bars before it prints another one. That's the other thing with it. I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress. I just threw it together this weekend. And 3 bars is pretty good for what we do. For the scalping stuff that we do, 3 bars is pretty good. It takes 3 to create a new one. But if you're on a run, then it's just going to run.
Mm-hmm.
But we're starting to get something here right now in the NQ. We got through the ribbon. We got through the BBC. We got through the weekly trading zone, and now we need to pull back to it. So there is potential for a trade here. Yes, if you feel the need for speed, it's in there. But yeah, that other table that I had created, it's I don't know if I have it open here right now. I don't. Oh, I guess I do. Oops, hang on. I didn't mean to do that. I was going to bring it over to show you, D. See, oops. It comes over and it prints all this kind of stuff. I was trying to figure out how to get it to print different values in different columns and stuff like that. Just playing with it. But I'll figure it out. I'll get it all working. we want it to at some point. All right, on the NQ, we're overbought, and we're in the where we have a lower low. So right now, if we put this on right now, it will start printing something over here in a couple of bars. I think when this bar closes, it's got a high of 24.75, so we're selling 16.75 on that. 16.75, 8 points down from the top of the bar. Okay, 8 points from the top of the bar. And so here, let me try to put this over here. Say here, there we go. Okay, so we're selling on the NQ 8 points from the top of the bar right now. It's right there at 16.75. All right, what it should do is get down here to the prior swing low. We're in the overbought. We have all 4 lines visible in the ribbon. We've already hit the ribbon on the pullback after it crossed down below it. It's been really sideways action here for a little while. The high just got a little higher. So if you hover over this, you see the high is now at 25. So 25 minus 8. Well, 25 minus 8 is going to put us in. Now it's up even further. So let's figure out where the high is on this. The high is now at 30.75, so it's going to be 22.75. Okay, 22.75 is what we're going to sell right there. That is 8 points off the high of the bar. So this should work out to be a good trade right now. If it comes together, we should make it all the way down to the prior swing low. We're bouncing off the BBC. We're bouncing off the weekly trading zone. And we have all 4 lines still visible in the ribbon. So if you look at this right up here, it says what the high of the bar is. Right now, the high is at 30.75. Subtract 8 points from that. 75 right there. And there it is. We're in. Okay, so now we want to see this go down to 18.75 to bump the stop to break even. All right, at 18.75, we'll hit break even. And then we should see it go all the way down to the prior swing low. Okay, that's what we should see right here as this comes together. Okay, man. Our stop should be 36 ticks away. 9 points is where our stop should be. Okay, 9 points away. Got a little bit of slippage on it. Okay. And, well, now we just have to wait it out. So let me check that box right there. And our stop is right there, 9 points away. So the bracket that we have on this, just so you can see, is a 9 by 12 point bracket, 36 by 48 stop. If you do it in points like this, it's a 9 by 12. Okay, 36 by 48 stop on this. And it should keep us in the trade. I wouldn't think it'd go much higher. It looks like it's going to stop. Nope, it got us. Dang, got us. All right, well, it doesn't mean it's not going to go down, right? It means it just got our stop, which doesn't mean it's not going to go down. But see, it started printing the support dots back here at the swing low. All right. Let me go here. For those of you guys that are watching in YouTube, I guess we only have 10 minutes left anyway. If you haven't taken a free trial, go here to mytradingiq.com. Click on the purple button right here. There's no credit card required for this trial. Click on the purple button, and that's going to bring you to one of these pages, this page right here. It's going to bring you to this page, and on this page, all that we ask for is your name, your email, your phone number. There's 5 multiple choice questions. Then right here, give us a machine ID for NinjaTrader if you have Ninja, or give us your TradingView login ID right here. You really should get TradingView. If you don't have it, you should really try to get it. The TradingView, it's right here. Go to Trading Platforms on mytradingiq.com. Go to Trading Platforms and follow these instructions right here. Okay, if you follow those instructions, it's a 3-minute video. When you follow those instructions, it's going to tell you how to take the trial, and at some point, you're going to be given a login ID. It'll be something like this. I'm logged into CFRN right here. Do something like that. Once you get that login ID, you need to give that to us. Supply us with that login ID, and we'll get your indicators indicating for you. Okay. That is all that you need to do to get your stuff rolling. I am moving that over there. Okay. Yeah, that looks to stop out right there. I really thought that was going to go down. But it is what it is. The market's pretty choppy, and I don't really like trading in the market right now. But just well, we'll take what we get. That's all we can do.
One of the news articles I read before you came on says that what happens, we got an econ report Thursday and another one Friday. And if those come in hot, that the Fed may pause at the next Fed meeting in November. In other words, no cut. But then another analyst said, don't believe that crap. We're going to get a cut. So, who knows?
Who knows? We have a lot going on between.
And the Fed announcement comes out the day after the election, I believe is what I read.
Interesting. Now, I read today that you'll know by the time, you'll know by midnight on election night who won. That's what I read today.
Well,
that would be good.
American Idol can do it during a commercial break. You know?
Yeah.
I realize that it's what we have is more complicated with all these drop boxes and mail-in ballots. I think that should all be whacked. I think it should all be electronic.
I think so too.
You know?
I think the only people who should be able to do mail-in are military. That's it. If they're overseas, then they should be able to do mail-in.
Log in with a social security number, cast your vote, or else the voter registration place gives you a number, and that's you. That's your identifier, and a password, and 2FA if I don't know.
Well, the handicap. I mean, Chris, is when you talk about the handicap, there has to be a way for them to vote, right? There's got to be a way for them. I mean, like I know all the seniors that are where my father-in-law is right now.
Well, they can do mail-in.
Yeah, they could do mail-in. The seniors could do mail-in, but they have to. I mean, there has to be a condition that they have to be able.
I did mail-in.
Not be able to go and actually place their vote.
I did mail-in. I just requested I don't know. My wife did it for me, but it came in the mail Friday, and I'm mailing it out today. And take it to the post office and drop it off. That way, there's no chance it doesn't get there in time.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go. I don't know when, but I'm gonna go at some point.
The lines are always so long around here. I used to
that's
enjoy.
That's what I heard here too.
It was like an event, and.
Well, I don't know. I'm gonna try to sneak over there at some point. Maybe I'll try to do that.
I remember the first time me and Emini went to vote together, and
she had those platform shoes on.
No, This was the first Obama election, and we showed up at this little church, which was a voting center near our house, and there was a long line of people. And let me just say, we stood out like a sore thumb in that line of people. And I looked at Emery and I go, is it worth even standing in line to go in and cast our vote? And she said, yeah, it is. So we did. And because I didn't have, I forgot, I left my wallet at home.
Oh, yeah.
And I was voting the R word, so they made me go home and get my wallet and show my picture ID. I wanted to just go into a tirade, but I did not because my wife was with me. I can control my anger better when she's there.
You don't control your anger. She controls your anger.
There you go. Well put.
I know. Yeah, the Chads, the hanging Chads.
Oh, that was the.
That was Bush.
Bush and what was his name?
The guy who invented the internet.
The the potato, or no, he just misspelled the potato.
Yeah, potato, right. Yeah, he misspelled potato.
He created those carbon credits as he flies around in his private jet.
Yeah.
What a scam that was. Is, I guess. Just my humble opinion.
Yeah.
Not the official opinion of this radio station, this broadcast, or CFRN.
Gore.
Al Gore, that's it. He made a
All right,
lot
so
of money off that.
yeah,
We're out of
not
time.
as much as no, not yet. We just out of trades. We don't have anything happening. Probably not as much as Zelensky's making off of this.
Oh, this guy goes from stand-up comedian to billionaire overnight.
Yeah.
This war's been a real blessing for him financially.
Yes.
And people in North Carolina get a $600 check or $700 or whatever it is. One lady
$700
said she didn't
check.
even get her full check. She only got like 300 or something. But we can send billions of dollars to fight other people's wars and defend their borders and pay the and a lot of that money is going to pay the pensions of retired Ukrainian government officials. Now, I'm just going to say it. That's wrong.
It is wrong. All right, you apparently have a meeting with Chris at 4.
Oh,
so
I do? Oh boy, I didn't know that because I have a
What,
doctor's appointment today. Chris, can we schedule that for tomorrow?
he's logged off.
Oh, he logged
He's
off.
logged off.
I'll send him
Send him a message.
Okay.
We almost have a trade setting up on the NQ. We almost have a trade setting up on the ES. We don't have anything on the YM or the Russell. Okay, and so far today, in this session, we stopped out on one ES and we stopped out on one NQ. So it hasn't been a banner session. Everything was great this morning. It started out great. It's a perfect Monday start. And then I'll just went sideways. So here it is on the ES. Here it is on the ES. Excuse me. It's oversold right now. That's what that means. It's oversold right now, and we are 66.75 up to 68.75 is what we're looking for. 66.75 up to 68.75. Okay, we're oversold over here on the Y. I'm on the NQ as well. It's got a low here, 36.25. So you'd be buying 8 points above that. $36.75 up to 44.75. Boy, I'm not used to that sound. Jada got a new car this weekend.
Okay.
It's a Buick something. I don't know. It's a neat little car. It's bigger than our other car. It's bigger than the Lincoln was. But I just heard it start up because she's leaving, and I'm not used to hearing that. She got a wild hair. Wanted a new car. 66.75 up to 68.75. She was all excited. 36 up to 38 over here. I'm sorry, 36 up to 44 on the NQ. I think we're gonna run out of time. We are running out of time. All right, well, it's just as well. I don't really want to trade right now. The markets are kind of sideways. I'd really rather wait until they actually get some trend to them. So let me do this. If you're not taking a free trade and you want to eat, in spite of the 2 stop outs that we just had, we do typically do much better than that. I mean, look at this. The spreadsheet goes back over 10 years, and this was all of this year, the monthly results, all of this year. This is our second best month of the year so far. And I'd have to have some real banner days here by the end of the week to make it our best month of the year. With 23 days, you would have thought it would have been. And we started off with our very best day of the year, $2,300 on the first day of the month. It was our very best day of the year, but then we had a bunch of slow days as the month dragged on. Anyway, if you haven't taken a free trial with us, yes,
No, I was just going to say, it's going to get wild the closer we get to the election.
I expect it probably will. In the morning session, anyway, the first part of the morning session, it should get pretty crazy, I would think. But anyway, if you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button. There is no credit card required for this trial. Click on that. It's going to bring you to this registration page. Just fill it out. At the bottom, make sure we have a TradingView login ID for you. All right. If you have an administrator, give us your machine ID, but make sure we get a TradingView login ID for you. Okay. All right. That is it. With that, we just got the trade over here on the NQ and on the ES. Both of those trades just triggered, and this one stopped. We go to break even. The NQ, I think it might have gone to break even already, but not quite. And that's it. With that, I can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne is ready.
Yes, sir. Recap of the morning session.
Today it took 2 minutes and one trade to get to $1,000. Okay, and both of those trades are working out right now. The ES and the NQ. The ES is now at plus 9 ticks, and the NQ I am actually going to lock in right now. I got in at 44.50 on the NQ, and I'm locking in 6 points right there. That's 24 ticks. So it's still going. It's just about up to the swing high. The swing high is up at 554. Nope, I just got out with the 24 ticks. So I'm done. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. All right,
guys.
So there we go.
Here's where we left off on the NQ. Okay, this was the close Friday. This was the open last night. This candle right here started to fill the gap, but it didn't do the trick. So, anywho, so 5 minutes into this candle, every trial member had these targets. And if you waited for price to get above the zone, I mean, like 25.82, from 82 to 92, that'd be your goal for the day. But it did go up and hit the target, and it hit the zone. Resistance sends the market looking for support. Back to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, back to support. And then we attempted to fill that gap, and we didn't. And that's a little odd. But you can see that that low is this high. No, not quite. There's like a tick difference. So now what are we doing? Well, step line's crossed red and falling, so we're probably going to pull up to the BBC, and maybe we'll make another run at it. And one of the alerts, logic alerts I put out last night was a gap fill on the NQ, so that one probably just stopped out. Unless I have to go look at it. It'll be in the recap when Valerie published it this afternoon, so I'm not going to worry about it. Crude oil, look at that huge gap down in crude. And then it hit the weekly zone, last week's weekly zone. Remember, all these alerts were published last night, so they're based on last week's zones. Everything published today and the rest of the week will be based on this week's zones, which came out this morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. So we hit, but there's carryover effect of the zones. Okay, as you can see, the zone from last week, support. This zone from last week, resistance, consolidation. So we dropped to a zone last night. This is the opening candle. We bounced up till we hit red and falling, and we just went sideways, and then we dropped to the short target, pulled up to red and falling, went all the way down to the zone, bounced up to the BBC and the zone. That's resistance times 2, and 70% of the time we expect consolidation, and that's what we got. Now We've got blue and climbing, but you see how it's just kind of turning? See, when it goes from blue and climbing to red and falling, that's how it looks typically. Red and falling to blue and climbing. Okay, it looks like it wants to go to red and falling. So if it does, then we'll have another trade back down to the target and possibly down to the low of the day, low of the session. Gold. Gold had everything gap last night. Now this is a wild ride. We came down to the zone support and bounced up to the zone resistance. Came down to the zone and the target. Now that target is based off the bullish cross, which led to an extended move. The first time price revisits that area will almost always be good support, and it was. Sent us up to the BBC resistance, which sent us back to the zone support, which sent us up to the zone resistance, which sent us back down to the zone support, which sent us back up to the zone, and we've been consolidating. Now blue and climbing is directly above price. So while on the way up, it's your friend. Now that the step line has crossed blue and climbing, that's probably going to be about the high of this move. Now remember, 20%, when you learn how to read the chart, 20% of the time, the market's going to do something other than what you expect it to do. Okay? So am I saying it could continue going higher? Yeah, you got to embrace all possibilities. But under normal market conditions, with the step line crossing and blue and climbing directly above price, it's going to send price back down to the zone, to the BBC. Okay, one more market. Silver. Now you only need 2 pennies in silver to get your goal for the day. So, I mean, we opened here 5 minutes into the candle. We had this target. But again, you only need 2 pennies. Like 33.60 to 33.62. That's 2 pennies. So we came down almost to hit the target. See this low right here? I had set this off the bottom right here of where it rounded. I should have had it right there. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. But that's okay. This candle opened at 33.68. 33.68 and dropped all the way to 33.40. So that's $1,400 per contract traded in this one 30-minute candle. You made $1,400 with one contract if you got out at the exact low, which is very hard to do. Okay, so you're trailing your stop, you get taken out wherever you get taken out. So we bounce into resistance, drops us back to support, up to resistance. See, this high is this closing high from Friday to the tick. This low is this rounding bottom right here. Okay, see it? Support. And did we make it all the way to the target? Nope, missed it by 2 pennies. Now silver may not be the best market for someone who's brand new. Margins are a little higher, but I mean the moves are just stupendous. I mean, look at this move on Friday. This candle, we've pulled up to the BBC. So what do we expect? Resistance. So this candle opened at 33.72 and it dropped 40 cents. That's $2,000 per contract traded from here to here. And that's it. On the daily, remember this red and falling, now it's back to 58.91. Okay, remember we said that the step line and the 38% fib extension were potential support. So price is trapped right now. Support is at the low of the session, right smack on the 38% fib extension and the step line. Resistance is high of the day, then red and falling, then the 50% fib extension, then the high of October 21st, and then the all-time historic high put in on October 17th. Become a member today. Go to mytradingiq.com, check out all the information there. And if you're ready to become a member, just send an email to support@cfrn.net. In the subject line, you can simply say, I want to become a member. Valerie will send you an email with all the information and a link so that you can become a member. Once you become a member, she'll send you another email with information you're going to need for weeks and months to come. So put it in a folder somewhere. Okay, don't let it, don't lose it. If you lose it, we'll send you another one. But I'm telling you now, you're going to need it. Okay. Now, when you become a passport holder, you'll have access to live training, 2 hours every trading day. The reason 9 out of 10 new traders fail is because they don't have live training any hours of the day. 2 hours every trading day, plus private one-on-one mentoring. The strategy you learn, the indicators that you own for life, are fluid across all markets and all time frames. As a passport holder, you get the Logic 247 alerts, the concierge trade alerts. Monday morning, 6:15 a.m. Eastern, you get the weekly trading zones. And you're able to attend the members only workshop every Thursday night. Not only are you able to attend, but you get the key to the vault that allows you to look at hundreds of previous weekly workshops if you want to. Do you need to? Not really. Not really. Okay. Let's wrap it up. Oh, again, call us 949-42 Emini. Email us support@cfrn.net with any question, or just hit us up on Telegram. Whether you're a member or trial member, you should have Telegram up and running so you can access the discussion group, the Logic 247 channel, concierge trade alerts, weekly trading zones, all that. Okay? You get all that even when you're on the trial, but only if you're connected to Telegram and you click the links that Valerie emails you when you sign up for the trial. Okay. Let's wrap it up with our good word for today. Friday we talked about intimacy versus activity. Today, changing your concept of God. Zephaniah 3:17. He will rejoice over you with gladness. What's your concept of God? When you pray, Our Father, what do you see in your mind's eye? Do you see a parent who abandoned you, abused you, or abdicated their responsibility to you? Do you think of an angry father who accused but never affirmed you? In other words, a God waiting to zap you each time you do something wrong. If so, you need to change your concept of God. Now, in the Breeze channel this morning, I shared today's edition of the Daily Audio Bible, because every day you get a little Old Testament, a little New Testament, a little Proverbs, a little Psalms. You complete the whole Bible in 1 year, and you become part of a community. And Brian's been reading live every day for many, many years. But today's Old Testament reading was extremely violent. You know, kill all the people, kill their animals, get, just scorched earth. And the reason I shared that particular edition, or today's download, whatever, episode, is because I want people to contrast what a difference Jesus made. Okay? We had an angry God that was ticked. Okay? Then came Jesus, went to the cross for the sins of the world. Now we have a God who's for you, not against you. If you have time, I encourage you to listen to it. It's in the Breeze channel. The Bible says, "The Lord your God in your midst, the mighty one, will save. He will rejoice over you with gladness. He will quiet you with his love. He will rejoice over you with singing." Zephaniah 3:17. So let's break this scripture down. Number one, the Lord your God in your midst. He's not a distant deity, but an up-close and personal Father who loves his redeemed children dearly. 2, the mighty one will save. When you consider the word mighty, think of Hercules 1,000,000,000 times over, and you still won't even be close. Today you may be weak, but he is strong. Your sins may be great, but his saving grace is greater. Romans 5:20. Number 3, he will rejoice over you with gladness. Every time God looks at you, he smiles and rejoices. You make his heart glad. Did you know that? Number 4, he will quiet you with his love. Ever watch a mother holding a crying baby and saying, "Shh, shh, it's okay. I'm here. I love you." And the baby's comforted. The baby feels secure. It goes to sleep. That's what God does for us. Number 5, he will rejoice over you with singing. God sings. I bet he could win American Idol. What does he sing about? You. It's time to change your concept of God. From some old dude with a long beard that's going to whack you every time you do something wrong, and a Father who loves you and invites you to come and sit in his lap. And that's our good word for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with his mercy and with his grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.